Welcome to another episode of the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm being joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. How are we doing on this Friday evening?
Thank God it's Friday.
Absolutely. We got a pretty big show today. We're going to talk everything from Kyrie Irving, the latest on him, to the Eagles last night, Monday Night Football, to the Warriors, Bucks, Rams, our picks, and my Harvey hot hand. But I do want to start on today's topic of talking about Kyrie because the latest of Kyrie has broke. He will be suspended a minimum of 5 games without any pay. And the Nets said in a press release last night that accordingly we are the view that he is currently unfit to be associated with the Brooklyn Nets, thus suspending him for 5 games without pay. So I want to know, what's your reaction to this? Because we mentioned it not too long ago about the anti-Semitism, and they came out with a joint statement, and people were not happy with his joint statement, saying, it wasn't a real apology. So I just want you to know, because he did end up releasing a statement about 4 hours after the press release, saying that he was suspended for a minimum of 5 games, could be more. So what is your reaction to this, and what do you think is going to come out of it?
I agree with the Nets 100%. He's unfit to be a part of their organization based on his beliefs and what he said and the fact that he didn't apologize for it. Now he's apologized now that his pay has been cut. Now that he doesn't have any pay, he suddenly has come out with a statement that I'm sure he didn't write, right? That's very well written, but it says that he apologizes and he's just, and that he's remorseful and that he wants to be all-inclusive and all of that. Well, that's because he doesn't have any pay anymore.
Right.
That's my feeling.
It's really interesting, and I'm going to bring up actually both. I think I have both statements here. Here they are. So the picture on the left, the press release by Brooklyn came out at about 7:45 p.m. Eastern. That's when Woj dropped it, that the Brooklyn Nets were suspending him, and I just want to read over a couple lines here. It starts with, over the last several days, we have made repeated attempts to work with Kyrie Irving to help him understand the harm and danger of his words and actions, which began with him publicizing a film containing deeply disturbing anti-Semitic hate. He goes on to say, we were dismayed today when given an opportunity in a media session that Kyrie refused to unequivocally say he has no anti-Semitic beliefs, nor acknowledge specific hateful material in the film. This was not the first time he had the opportunity, but failed to clarify. Such a failure to disavow anti-Semitism when given a clear opportunity to do so is so deeply disturbing, is against the values of our organization, and constitutes conduct detrimental to the team. And so they are they are suspending him for 5 games. And then Kyrie goes on to give an actual apology because the joint statement that they came out with between Kyrie Irving, the Brooklyn Nets, wasn't really much of anything. He just says he acknowledges that it hurt the Jewish community.
I think the joint statement was a mistake on the Nets' part, right? They kind of got in it with him. Right. It doesn't say that he's remorseful and that much in this statement.
It's more of an acknowledgement that
he didn't
happened.
apologize. He didn't apologize. He just acknowledged that he said some bad things, but he didn't apologize. And the Nets are a part of this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess they were hoping he would come on later on and say he totally apologized and he believes everybody's equal and an all-inclusive society, but he didn't.
Right.
So I think they made a mistake doing this joint statement with him. They shouldn't have done it. They tarred themselves with this.
Yeah.
And now they've figured that out and they suspended him. I think 5 games is a slap on the wrist. They should have made it.
Well, it's at least it's a minimum of 5.
Minimum of 5 games. I bet it won't be many more.
Well, because there's more than just saying he's suspended 5 games. They also want him to work. I have it right here. Service suspension without pay until he satisfies a series of objective remedial measures that address the harmful impact of his conduct, and the suspension period served is no less than 5 games. Yeah. So they want him to do more than just sit out for 5 games without pay, obviously. They want him to...
We'll see what he does. Asking him to do much is probably a mistake, because he's got his own shtick, and that usually means bad things.
Right.
That's what I've seen from him over the years. He's another Antonio Brown in my mind.
Right.
Very similar. Off the reservation.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it says here that Kyrie and the Brooklyn Nets will each donate $500,000 to the ADL.
That's a good thing.
The Anti-Defamation League. And when the CEO, who is Jonathan Greenblatt, when he read the statement, he had this to say on Twitter. Good for at Brooklyn Nets and at Kyrie Irving has been given ample opportunity to do the right thing. Apologize and condemn #anti-Semitism. He has failed at almost every step along the way. The suspension is well deserved. And they also denied, or they refused to accept Kyrie Irving's $500,000. They'll take it from the Brooklyn Nets because I guess, like you said, they were a part of
They
this.
refused his $500,000. Huh?
Yes, he said, according to Ian Begley, ADL CEO Jonathan Greenblatt says ADL is not accepting Kyrie Irving's $500,000 donation. Quote, we were optimistic, but after watching the debacle of a press conference, it is clear that Kyrie feels no accountability for his actions. At ADL cannot in good conscience accept the donation. Because he was asked...
that was at... was that before he
after
issued this press release?
It was before the press release, after the joint statement. So the joint statement, I believe, was the day before.
Well, maybe they'll reconsider based on his statement here, which is very apologetic, but I don't think he wrote it.
Well, the Sean Marks, who was a part of the Brooklyn Nets front office, refused to let Kyrie speak to media after the game, which is a finable offense in the NBA. So he had to escape the media for the game, and then after a practice yesterday, he was asked whether or not he is anti-Semitic, and he would not give a definite no.
I heard some of that, and yeah, he was.
And that's a problem.
He kept saying next question, next question.
Yeah.
He tried to get beyond it,
which you can't do because this is a serious thing. When people ask you such a ridiculous question, and it's so obviously a yes or a no question, and then you either dodge the question or not give a solid answer, like a solid yes or a solid no, you're going to get people that don't believe you.
Yeah.
And especially when you come out and you say, I'm a human being learning from all walks of life, and I intend to do so with an open mind and willingness to listen. Well, I have a problem with that because in life, there's some things you do not, there's some roads and lines you don't cross. Regardless if you're walking the roads of life. There are some mistakes that you have to at least be somewhat knowledgeable enough just not even to try to make and learn from your mistakes there. You want to avoid it at all costs. And promoting, even though it was, I believe it was a retweet that's since deleted about this, I believe it was a film about a movie that was incredibly anti-Semitic. It's sort of a promotion to it. And Amazon has, like a report came out today that this movie is now the top of Amazon's charts at the moment.
Well, people want to see it and draw their own conclusions about it.
It's that, or it's the fact that...
What is the movie? What's the name of it? I don't even know what it is.
Let's see. I knew it because I had to look it up for the show. It was called... It's not going to tell me, is it? Let's see. Here we go. The movie was it was a book, or it's a movie with the same name as the book. It's called Hebrews to Negroes Wake Up Black America. That's what the promotion was, and it was coming in at number 9 on Apple Books and 13th on Audible's respective top audiobook lists. So there's just some lines you don't cross.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I'd just like to say we on the Harvey Hour we believe in anti-racism.
Of course.
We believe in equality. We believe in all-inclusiveness for everybody.
Of course.
And we don't, it's ridiculous. This is a primitive view that he has, and it's good that he got suspended, and I'm glad it's getting the visibility that it's getting, because it just points out that the large majority of people feel like we do, that everybody should be included, and that anti-racism is number one. That we're for equality for everyone.
Right. And Cole Beasley got into the conversation, former wide receiver of the Bucks, Cowboys, and Bills, who was a little bit surprised when Kyrie ended up getting punished, saying something about, like, talking about free speech. Oh, we can't say anything we want anymore. And my answer to that is, you could say whatever you want, yeah, but don't expect there not to be any consequences on what you speak.
Yeah,
you do
particularly
have freedom of speech.
When you say it in
your
a way
freedom of
that's
speech
a
does not-
racist comments.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You can say whatever you want. Just don't expect not to get reprimanded for what you say.
Yeah.
Because that part of it is
Right.
not
Go
what you're
ahead. It's not about free speech. Free speech is out there.
He said it.
He said it.
He said it.
He said it. Now Cole Beasley's out there saying it too.
Right.
So he'll be judged by it, what he said too. Rightfully so. That's free speech. There's no free speech. There's no trying to prevent free speech here at all.
Right.
That's not the issue at all.
Right. And what made it worse is that Kyrie Irving reposted it without any necessary context, and that's what he actually said in his statement. I'm trying to find it here. Let's see if I can. Here we go. I want to clarify on any confusion where I stand on fighting anti-Semitism. He misspelled that in his Instagram post. We're going to move past that. By apologizing for posting the documentary without context and a factual explanation outlining the specific beliefs in the documentary I agreed with and disagreed with. I had no intention to disrespect any Jewish cultural history regarding the Holocaust or perpetuate any hate because I believe I could be wrong in this, but it was about how the Holocaust was fake and other BS like that.
Yeah.
So it just makes Kyrie Irving look not the greatest at all.
Not the greatest.
Nowhere near.
He hasn't been looking the greatest for anywhere near what a professional athlete should be and what they should strive to be when they're in the public light.
Yeah.
They're role models for people, for kids and things, you know? That's he just doesn't get it. I'm sorry.
He doesn't.
And hasn't for a while.
I mean, when he started, really talking about his beliefs and everything, and he said, "Oh yeah, I'm a flat earther. I believe in the flat Earth theory and everything like that." People kind of pushed that aside. Okay, well that's whatever. It's nothing. And then he came out. He was against the vaccine, which I'm like, okay, that's your choice. There's no problem with that. But you're part of a sports team. Everyone has to make sacrifices.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Well, so they're paying him a huge salary, too, and he couldn't play the games because he wouldn't get vaccinated.
He played like 29 games, something like that, and it cost him in the playoffs. And then, whatever, it's your choice. And then this comes out, and we're taking a step back by this because it can't just be, oh, well, that's Kyrie. No, this is like a serious thing. This is a serious topic.
I don't know why the Nets think they can continue with him.
Well, that's
why
a question.
Why wouldn't they just use this as a mean to invalidate his contract and be rid of him?
That's the question.
Why are they continuing on with him? I don't get it.
They're hoping that just like before, Sean Marks said that he tried to contact Kyrie about the situation, but Kyrie wouldn't respond to any of his texts. So the question is though, like, where can the Nets go from now? Because they said already today that they don't plan on releasing Kyrie Irving. But what are they going to do with? Are they just going to bring him back and hope he's changed? Kyrie Irving has shown he's not a big, man of change, really.
That's for sure.
So what's going to happen
moving
moving
Nets
forward?
Named a coach now? Do they have a coach?
Ime Udoka is still going. Right now, they still have an interim head coach, but Ime Udoka still is planning on being the next Nets head coach.
Well,
so
good luck to him with that crew.
We'll see. He might be the best thing that the Nets need. Hard coaching, severely hard coaching.
Could be. We'll see.
Because he did that with the Celtics. Because the Celtics
were off to a slow start, man.
Yeah,
4-3 now.
There they are. They
lost that game against Cleveland by 1 point in overtime.
Yeah,
it's a tough game, tough loss.
They're not as bad as the Warriors, which we will talk about a little bit later. But I do want to move on to our next topic. We're talking about last night's game, Monday Night Football. Philadelphia Eagles took down the Houston Texans 29-17. The game was close for a decent, probably 2.5 quarters. About or about more so 2 quarters than that, and then the Eagles took off. But I was surprised because the Eagles throughout the entire season made their mark in the second quarter, scoring more points than any other team in the second quarter, and the Texans really shut them down in the second quarter. So I want to know, are the Eagles at this current moment poised to go 17-0 and stay undefeated?
Wow, I doubt it.
Really?
Yeah. What's their schedule? What do they got left?
What's their schedule? I believe I have it here, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. That's not the right one here. Do we have it up here? Yeah, we do. Here's their schedule. So
Okay.
they beat all these teams. They have the Lions, Vikings,
So they should beat the Commanders, right? They should beat the Colts.
right?
They should beat Green Bay. Green Bay's not too tough this year, right? The Titans could give them a decent game, right? But they probably could win that game based on the way they're playing. They should beat the Giants. They should beat the Bears, right?
Right.
Cowboys will give them a run, but they ought to beat them. So, and the Saints, they should beat them, and the Giants again, they should beat them. So they have a chance, I think, to go undefeated in the regular season. But once they get into the playoffs, that's a little different story.
I think there are two, maybe three games I would say are probably the hardest, and that is the Cowboys, Saints, and maybe Packers, depending on how
The
they
Saints?
play. The Saints have a really, really good defense.
Yeah,
They shut out
their offense with their quarterback. Yeah,
Hey,
I'm sorry, he throws a lot of interceptions.
yeah, no, that
Makes
is
mistakes.
true. But
And you don't know who their quarterback's going to be going forward, right? They may bring Jameis Winston back.
Is
he?
that could be.
He might be back this weekend, right? I mean, he's been out for quite a while now.
Yeah. But apparently he's practicing. I mean, he was the third string, I believe. I don't know if it was the week before or last week or something.
So keep that back up there for a second. Yeah. So some of the games have been pretty close, right?
Yeah.
The Cardinals, they only won by 3.
Right.
The Lions, the first game of the season, I don't know. I guess I wouldn't give that one too much credence, right? But that was the first game of the season. The rest of the games haven't been that close except for the Cardinals game, right?
Right.
So I think they look like they have a shot.
Well, I mean, you also had the Jaguars
Injuries, and
games also.
maybe injuries.
Well, actually, there were a couple close games. The Lions, the Jaguars
Lions is
were a
the
one
first
score.
game.
Yeah, no, I understand that. The Jaguars was a 1-score game. Cardinals was a 3-point game. I was impressed with how the Texans played in the first half.
I think the Texans aren't a terrible team. They just don't know how to win.
Right.
You know, they got a young quarterback. Like he threw 2 interceptions last night, right?
Yeah.
That cooked them. They get points off those.
Yeah.
So I didn't see a whole game, but I think the Eagles are good, better than I thought. Hurts is playing much better than I thought he would.
Right.
He might be an MVP candidate.
He's in my top 3, so he's not a number 1 for me. I still have Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes over.
The defense is good. Look, they haven't given up that many, except for the first game. They really haven't given up that many points every game, right?
Yeah, the highest since week 1 was 21 against the Jaguars.
Yeah.
So their defense has showed up. James Bradbury, Darius Slay, they're both really, really good cornerbacks. But when it comes to whether or not they'll go undefeated, like I said, they have a serious shot at going undefeated because I think really the main 2 competition is the Cowboys and it's the Saints. Both because the Cowboys and Saints each have really, really good defenses. Is can the offense keep up?
I just think the comparison to the Dolphins nowadays, the Dolphins, they only played 14 regular season games.
Yeah.
Right? And then they have 3 playoff games, or I think 3 playoff games. So that was 17 games, right? Well, now there's 17 games in the regular season.
Right.
And then you got to win. I guess you can get there winning 3 playoff games if you're the number 1 seed, right? Because you get a bye. So
it was.
So you got to win
17.
20 games to make it undefeated.
Right.
That's really hard. I mean, it's a big difference between 17 and 20 in terms of undefeated.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
so I don't think the Dolphins are lucky that this football's a lot different now, I think, than it was then.
No, absolutely.
Very different.
1,000%. Yeah. Because you had quarterbacks throwing for, you're talking about like 2,000 yards, 2,500 yards, breaking records. Now it's not so much like that. It's more so you're having quarterbacks go 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns to set records, and it was mainly very much a running NFL. I mean, I'm taking a look right here. The 72 Dolphins had 2 1,000-yard rushers, 2,000-yard rushers. They also had another 500-yard rusher. So you're putting up 2,600 yards rushing from 3 backs. It's mainly a rushing game. Now it's very much a passing.
Mercury Morris, Jim Kick, and Larry Zonka. Those are the 3 running backs, I believe.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't think you knew that. Who's their quarterback?
It was Earl Morrall.
Yeah,
he was filling in for Bob Greasy, who was hurt. right?
Yeah, nailed it. Wow, I'm impressed. Who's their head coach? This
Don Shula.
yeah.
Wide receivers.
Let's see. Let's see how much you know.
They had, I think Paul Warfield, I think, was one of their wide receivers.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was one of them.
And I'm not sure who the other one was.
Howard Twilley
Yeah.
and Marlon Briscoe.
Yeah, Marilyn Briscoe.
And they also had another one that didn't. Hey, yeah,
They had A.J. Dewey on defense. I think, yeah, he was on defense.
I can't find him. So
Yeah, well, I think he was there.
maybe. I might not be looking in the right place.
I think it was kind of a no-name defense. They didn't really have any big names there.
Their defense was ranked.
They beat the Redskins in the Super Bowl.
They did 14-7.
Yeah.
They every single one of these playoff games was close though. 20-14, 21-17, 14-7.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, like I said, it's mainly. I mean, this was a clock game. I don't think a lot of these games were high scoring because you run the ball all the time, you're wasting clock.
Yeah.
So, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed.
I know my football. Historically, anyway.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts looks really good though. He looks
Yeah.
very, very good. I've been very surprised with it, but to be honest,
They have a good running back too, Miles Sanders.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. They also have Boston Scott, who may be hurt right now, but he's still very, very viable when they need him to be out there because he's made a couple of very, very nice plays throughout his time with the Eagles. I'm checking here to see if they have any. If Boston Scott, no, he's not. They're still missing actually what I think is actually a pretty good defensive tackle in Jordan Davis. I like Jordan Davis a lot. But if they're going a full of 17-0, do I think they can make it 20-0? Is that where we're at now?
I don't think so.
It's very, very hard to say whether or not they're going to go full 20-0 because I think right now the schedule favors them.
You know what?
A lot.
They may wind up in the same boat as the Patriots did, right? Who lost their only game in the Super Bowl because the NFC is looking weaker and weaker.
Yeah.
Right? The Rams they're questionable. The Bucs are questionable.
Right.
Right? Green Bay isn't any good. All the big teams from last year, San Francisco, they'll probably wind up. They'll be going against them. Maybe that could be a very, very interesting game.
But it's hard to say because their schedule favors them so much, and there's only so much of a sample size against really, really good teams. Like I said, the Cowboys and the Saints. I'm not saying the Saints are a great team, but they're a really, really good defense. Their offense has a lot of question marks, obviously, but they
Cowboys turn the ball over too many times.
They do, especially against the Cardinals. That was a turnover frenzy.
They may have a formula now though with Kamara. They're giving him the ball a lot, and that seems to be helping them a lot.
Right. So I mean, the Packers just have a little bit of a drop issue, and it's a mess on offense. Their defense apparently, I don't know if it's still ranked number 1 in passing, which when I saw that blew my mind. So I think if it's between them, Packers maybe, I don't think so. Cowboys and then the Saints, I think those are the only 2, maybe 3 viable teams that could seriously cause the Eagles some trouble. But I don't know. I was pretty impressed with the Texans though. Like Davis Mills, yes, he only put up 154 passing yards.
I think they have a future. Their coach is okay. Lovie Smith. I like that beard he's got there. He looks pretty cool with that.
Right.
And he has experience being a head coach before. I think he's got those guys, they're playing hard, but they just can't seem to break through. They maybe second half of the season now, they'll play better.
Yeah, but how much? But are you saying they're a playoff team?
No, they're not a playoff team. I mean, they only won, one game?
One game.
One game. So they're not a playoff team. I'm sorry.
So what would you say they have a second half?
Who they play in the second half?
I don't have the schedule up for the graphic, but let's see. They play Giants, Commanders, Dolphins, Browns, Cowboys, Chiefs, Titans, Jaguars, Colts.
Yeah. Run it again.
Giants, Commanders.
Commanders, they might. Well, I don't know. The Commanders are revived now under Tyler Heineke.
Yeah. Dolphins, Browns.
Browns, maybe.
Cowboys, Chiefs, Titans. All 3 no's.
No.
Jaguars, Colts.
Maybe the Colts. They win the last game of the season.
Potentially. So I don't know. We're taking a look at this. They may win 3 games.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so we're going to move to our next topic. We're going back to the NBA right now because the Warriors, they're having a little bit of trouble. They're not off to a particularly hot start, being the former NBA Finals champions because they won, was it last year? That's my Harvey hot hand. It's a little sneak peek for everyone there. The former NBA champions, they're not off to a particularly hot start with a solid record of 3-6, losing the past, 5 of 6. Not looking too good for the Golden State Warriors. So what do you think? Do you think the Warriors are in trouble? Starting off 3-6, losing their past 5 of 6. Do you think it's? I'm not saying necessarily hit the panic button, but do you think the Warriors, they need to maybe change some things up?
It's too early to say.
You do think so?
Yeah. Didn't they have a bad stretch last year too? I think they had a bad stretch.
They
last
had
year.
a couple bad stretches, but
And
I don't
they
think
wound
it
up
was
winning the whole
like
thing. So I think it's too early to tell. I do think this issue with Draymond Green punching out Jordan Poole is maybe has a little undercurrent there that's affecting them. I can't say for sure, but if I were on that team and that's happened, that would upset me.
Right.
And maybe they get beyond it at some point, but maybe that's affecting them a little bit. And they only lost by 1 point in overtime, so I don't know. It's early in the season. I think you look at some of the really good teams last year. The Celtics are 4-3, so I don't know. I wouldn't make too much of it yet.
Interesting. Interesting.
You?
Say that.
What do you think?
This is looking to me. This is looking a lot like, what was it? I believe it was 2020 Golden State, or maybe 2020, 2021 Golden State, where it was all Steph Curry. Because Draymond had an injury. Klay Thompson was still out at the time. They went 39-33. They lost to I believe it was the Grizzlies, lost to John Morant. And it is right now all Steph Curry. Yesterday, right? Klay, first of all, had his first really good game in a very, very long time, shooting 41% from the field and shot 7 of 15 from 3. Like, that's a really good Klay game, right? And if Klay and Steph make 15 out of 33s, you would think that's good enough to win them games. Well, it wasn't. Steph Curry shot 8 of 15, which is 53%. He shot totally about 59.1%, so we're rounding up to 60%, 13 of 22. 39 points compared to Klay's 27. Every single starter was in the plus. The reserves, Jordan Poole, JaMychal Green, Ty Jerome, Moses Moody, James Wiseman, all negatives. Every single one of them was a negative, with JaMychal Green and Jordan Poole a combined minus 20.
Yeah, well, maybe their conditioning is an issue because they fell apart in the second half.
Yeah.
Right?
Their defense.
They were ahead by 12 points at the end of the first half, and then they lost by 1 in overtime. So they got outscored in both the third and fourth quarter. 10 points in the third quarter, 3 points in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe conditioning is not there yet.
Steve Kerr says things will switch up because they've tried this, they've tried that, so they're going to try to do another switch.
They have a great coach.
They do. The Magic, though, they kept fighting. Jalen Suggs had a really good game. 26 points. Free throws are a little bit of an issue. 6 of 11, not great. Another problem with the Warriors was fouls. The foul differential, 46 free throw attempts compared to 15 from the Warriors. Which is, let's say, they made 33 of 46 compared to the 10 of 15. So in reality, you gave them 23 free points. 23 free points. That would have saved you basically a whole quarter that they scored on you.
Yeah.
They fouled over and over and over again. Foul troubles have been a thing for the Warriors for a very, very long time. Draymond Green fouled out again. Shot 4 of 5. 30 minutes, he had 8 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. Once again, putting up another triple single. That's now Draymond Green's nickname is triple single.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan Poole, he's got to get going a little bit here. He shot 33% from the field.
Minus 10.
It was a minus 10. shot 20% from 3, 1 of 5. He needs to get going. 11 points in 24 minutes. That's not really Jordan Poole. He's supposed to be Steph Curry and Klay Thompson's replacement. He's supposed to be the next guy. And Jonathan Kuminga, their explosive forward, he was a DNP coach's decision. Wasn't even a DNP because he's hurt. It's coach's decision. That's a problem. They put in Ty Jerome, who was somehow a +3 with 2 points. And, shot 50%, 1 of 2.
+2 is not going to do it.
It's the war. I think right now I'm not necessarily hitting the panic button. I would definitely check yourself on, Jordan Poole. Could this be an effect of getting a big contract? Because I see this all the time. Players get a huge contract. Ezekiel Elliott was one of those players. A huge contract, never was the same after the contract.
Yeah.
Could we see this from Jordan Poole? He got a huge extension, over $100 million for I think 4 years. Could it be going to his head? This happens to a lot of players. I'm not just saying it's happened to Jordan Poole.
Again, I think it's a small sample size here.
It is.
It's only 9 games so far.
Right. We're a little over. Was a little over a tenth of the season away into it. So, hey, the Magic. The reason why I'm not necessarily saying it's too early or what it is because the Magic before this were 1-7.
Yeah.
1-7. The Warriors were 3-5, obviously. The former NBA champions. Their defense seems to be nowhere near what it was last year because they shut down essentially the Celtics.
Oh yeah, the
Game
defense
3
was
on.
awesome.
It was, I don't know. This Warriors team. I don't know. I definitely have my questions when it comes to this Warriors team because I just feel like you lost to them. Like we're talking about the Magic. Yes, the Magic had a really good game. Like I said, Jalen Suggs had a really, really good game. I was very impressed with him. He sort of, I don't know if this is necessarily a full breakout game for him, but it's definitely one of them. You had the rookie, Paolo Banchero. I don't know what it's nice. I think he was the top 10 pick in the NBA draft. I think he was the number 1 pick, maybe. He had a great game. 22 points, 8 rebounds.
Well, the Magic were fired up to be playing the NBA champions, right? That's a thing for the Warriors. They're the champions. Everyone's shooting at them. That's a benchmark for many teams.
Yeah.
They're going to do their best on those nights, and it's going to be tough for the Warriors. They're going to have to step up. Right. So far, they haven't.
A lot of time in sports, right? When you go from being such a bad team, right? You're still the hunters. Well, now the Warriors won. Now they're being the hunted.
Yeah.
So teams, like you said, have this extra motivation towards them to say, "Oh, we beat the former NBA champions," and you could also say we beat Steph, Clay, and Draymond, a 4-time NBA champion. So I don't know. I'm a little bit. I don't know. I'm scared a little bit because this was a sign of things to come.
This is your team, right? You like the Warriors, don't you?
I'm a fan of them. I do like them. If I had to pick who's going to win the NBA Finals right now, I don't think it's the Warriors. I'd probably put the Bucks in that category.
Yeah. What's their record right now?
I have it right here in front of me. They are 7-0.
7-0. Wow.
7-0. I think it could be. Hey, Portland looks really good. They're 5-2 this year, and that's without CJ McCollum. Still got Dame Lillard. I don't because a lot of teams I didn't expect to do well.
Cleveland? They've only lost 1 game.
Yeah, they're 6-1. I don't know. If I had to pick my NBA Finals matchup, I'm probably gonna say Milwaukee and because if I say Portland, people say, "What, you're gonna pick Portland?" Yeah, I'm going to pick Portland. Right now, at this current moment, I'm saying it's going to be Milwaukee, Portland in the NBA Finals.
Well, I'm saying it's Celtics-Warriors.
You think it's a rematch?
Yeah.
The Celtics right now, I believe, are in 5th place. The Warriors are, they're in 12th place. So they need to dig themselves out of this hole that they've dug themselves into. And I think...
I'm hoping for that rematch. I want to see the Celtics blow them out.
You think this... Hey.
I was disappointed in that series last year.
Jason Tatum didn't show up. Jaylen Brown.
I wouldn't say he didn't show up. He didn't play like Jason Tatum's expected to play.
Hey, throughout the playoffs, Jaylen Brown was the man, not Jason Tatum.
True.
He had
so far this year,
Jason Tatum had one really good game against
Jaylen Brown
the Bucks.
is having a good season so far too.
Jason Tatum had that one. I think it was Game 6 against the Milwaukee Bucks where he matched Giannis every point. Every point Giannis scored, Jason Tatum matched it instantly. So on that one, I will give him the credit for that. But I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous here. Was it 130, 129 loss? Scoring is up in the NBA. I don't know what it is. Maybe teams are just shooting a lot better, but the defense
They're playing
is down.
any defense.
The NBA hasn't really
Too
played a
early
lot
in
of
the
defense.
season. It's still that's an exhibition season right now. So
Right.
They haven't gotten it going yet. They're gonna. I don't know about the NBA season. I mean, it's 82 games, right?
Right.
And they, I don't know. I don't think until they get into the playoffs, they never really seem to really give it their all.
Right.
I think there's a lot of 3-point shooting, a lot of half-court offense, walking the ball up.
Right.
I don't know. I think that any team that really wants to go after it during the regular season, play really tough defense, make all your free throws, play fundamental basketball really well, you have a good chance.
Yeah.
Any team.
Because both teams that made it to the NBA Finals last year, the Celtics in the regular season were rated number 1, and the Warriors, I believe, were number 2. So play really good defense. The Warriors have the 2 best free throw shooters in the NBA. Jordan Poole, who had the highest free throw percentage last year, and Steph Curry, who's consistently over 92, 93% from the stripe. So we'll see. Like, for instance, here, Andrew Wiggins shot 1 of 3 from the free throw line. Draymond Green missed his only free throw. Steph Curry went 5 for 5.
Yeah. Well, they didn't draw enough fouls.
Yeah.
They're not being aggressive enough going to the hoop, drawing those fouls.
15 attempts versus 46 from the Magic.
There you go.
Fouling 2
That was the
times.
difference in the game right there. The fouls.
32 to 22 personal fouls.
Huh.
Commit 10 more fouls, give up 23 extra points.
You can't win that way.
23 points. I think it was almost a full quarter of scoring just on free throws.
Yeah.
They won a 43-point third quarter. I'm a little bit nervous here for the Warriors, but we are going to take a break right here, but don't go anywhere. We will be back to discuss whether or not Brady can bounce back against the Rams this Sunday, our Week 9 picks, and my Harvey Hot Hand right after this.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
Or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe
Interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.
You have a lot to say. Maybe you've thought, I should start a podcast. Meet Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast ever. It's a powerful mobile app and web tool that lets you record a podcast anywhere and distribute it everywhere. It's great whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. And it's 100% free. You can record your show straight into Anchor on your phone, iPad, or the web, using any mic you want. Record alone or with friends or co-hosts anywhere in the world. You can add background music and transitions, and your listeners can send you voice messages that you can incorporate right into your next episode. If you want to produce your show using another app, you can upload your own audio directly from web or mobile and still take advantage of Anchor's totally free podcast hosting. Once your podcast is ready to publish, Anchor can automatically distribute it to every major podcast platform. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, so your listeners can hear your show wherever they want. And on the web, you can see detailed analytics about how people are listening. Plus, you'll get a great-looking profile page where anyone can listen to your podcast or subscribe to it. And if you want to ask your audience to support your work, Anchor makes it easy to collect monthly payments from the people who love your podcast and want to see it grow. You really don't need a recording studio, expensive equipment, or a bunch of technical knowledge to deal with a podcast feed. Just get started and join the diverse community of podcasters already on Anchor. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm being joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's get into it. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers are playing the Los Angeles Rams this Sunday, 4:25 p.m. Eastern on CBS. The Bucs are 3-5. Rams are 3-4. Both are not looking too good. Each team can't run the ball. So I ask you, can the Buccaneers bounce back after such a sluggish start?
The game is at the Bucs.
The game is at Bucs, yes.
I think yes.
Okay. Why do you think that?
I just think that they have Tom Brady. He's a winner. He's not used to losing. He's been very upset after these games that they've lost. And I don't think that the Rams are that good either. Their offensive line is a disaster. And their Matthew Stafford is not playing well. Cooper Kupp got hurt last week. So they're banged up. And I think that the Bucs will bounce back. Now, I do think that maybe the Bucs suffering a little bit from, and I hate to say this, but I think it may be true that Bruce Arians isn't their coach. He might have put a little more fire into those guys. They don't seem to have that fire that they need. Todd Bowles, he's not very animated over on the sidelines. He just kind of stands there and watches the game. I think maybe that has a factor in this because the Bucs, even though their offensive line is bad, they have their wide receiver core is pretty much back, right?
Yeah.
And those guys have been dropping passes. They haven't been playing that well. I don't understand it, actually. So this is a game. They got to win. I really think that this is almost a must win for the Bucs in a way.
You would think.
Yeah. I mean, 3-5, go to 3-6. Right. Right now, the Falcons are in the first place in the division. The one thing they got going for them is a weak division, for sure. But the Falcons are 4-4 in the division. So the Falcons, we picked them. Well, we're going to do our picks in a little bit, but they're playing. Who are the Falcons playing this week? I can't remember.
I do not. I think we actually could have the graph. Do we have the graphic up right now? We do. The Falcons are playing the Chargers.
So they may lose that game. I think I picked the Chargers to win that game. So the Bucs might not lose any ground, but the Saints, what their record now?
The Saints are tied with them, but
4-4.
They have the upper hand because they won the first meeting.
So they're 4-4 in first place.
The Saints, no, they're 3-5.
Oh, they're 3-5. They're tied with the Bucs.
Yeah.
Oh, so the Falcons have a 2-game lead, right? No, a half-game lead in the
because the Bucs beat them.
Yeah. Okay, so the Bucs still have a chance even if they play, just 500 ball. There's no 500 ball anymore in the NFL, right? Because there's 17 games. But I'd say the Bucs they're going to be hanging around all year in the division, but I'd see this as a very important game for them. It's a statement game, really. Do they have the oomph to bounce back? Do they have the resilience to hang in there despite the adversity and win this game? And I believe that their quarterback has it. I'm not so sure about the rest of the team.
That is the big question mark when it comes to both these teams. Each of these teams they don't run the ball very well. The Bucs are 32nd in the NFL. Rams are 31st. Rams are 15th in passing. Bucs are 5th. The defenses are kind of similar, which this surprised me a little bit. The Bucs, when passing defense, they're apparently ranked 6th within passing yards given up. The Rams are 11th, and then this is where it flips on its head. The Bucs, who normally are very good at stopping the run, are 24th, with the Rams being 7th. The Bucs can't run the football. Tom Brady in the past, 2-3 seasons he's been with the Bucs, has never beaten the Rams before. He always has trouble beating them. He lost to Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford. And now my guess would be he's losing to Matthew Stafford once again. The fact that the Bucs are favored in this game by 3 points, which is the home field, so on a neutral field, it'll be a pick'em game. Pick whoever you want, because the spread would be 0. I'm surprised that the Rams are not favored by a half point, a point, something.
Well, the line may switch before the game.
It's unlikely, but yes, it could be. This is going to be Tom Brady's first game post-divorce, post-finalization of his divorce. So, what's funny?
Well, I know that may play into it somewhat. We'll see.
I think it could. I think it has a chance to, because before he was dealing with that off the field, dealing without the circumstances of it.
You think it helps him or hurts him? Now that there's a finality to it, right? There's a resolution to it, so maybe that's a plus for him.
I think it could help because he's not worrying about having to go through with it. It's already done.
Yeah.
He has to move on.
Yeah.
It's the next step. So the next step would be go out here, play football.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because that's what he has to do on Sunday. So I still think the Bucs are a complete mess. Julio Jones is finally full participant, and he's somewhat healthy, still dealing with a knee injury. Shaq Mason was limited. Antoine Winfield is out. I actually have the people who are out. Cooper Kupp will play for the Rams on Sunday. Cameron Brate, the tight end, Russell Gage, the wide receiver, and Antoine Winfield Jr., the defensive back, are all out against the Rams. Cooper Kupp and pretty much anyone who was hurt will play. I believe Van Jefferson is going to play. Cam Akers, who was going to get traded, they're going to try to get him back on the field to help the Rams run the football. But you have a lot of people coming back for the Rams. So Tom Brady against Jalen Ramsey. Right now, the Bucs are playing Mike Evans or bust because they can't run the football. Chris Godwin doesn't have the explosiveness he had post ACL tear and recovery from that. Russell Gage is out. Julio Jones, is he healthy? I don't know. For all we know, he could go on one simple route, tear up his knee again, and be out for the rest of the season, which is a possibility.
He's had a lot of injuries.
A lot of injuries.
He hasn't played much football over the last few years.
Right. So Mike Evans was limited in practice this week, which is always a huge thing because the question's in the air of how healthy can he be. So we'll have to see, but I don't think the Bucs can bounce back in this game. And it's hard to say they'll bounce back at any point in the season because the competition is hard because they play at the Rams. Then they go over to, I believe it's Munich. This is the Munich game, which is 2 weeks from now against the Seahawks, who, hey, Geno Smith's got some zip on that ball, and the Seahawks are a really good running team. What's the one thing the Bucs can't really stop this year? Running the football.
They have a rookie running back, right? The Seahawks.
Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
And then you're up against the Browns, who have Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. It's going to be tough to
beat
stop
the
that.
Browns.
You have the Saints again, which Brady doesn't do well against. You have the 49ers. CMC looks unstoppable right now. The Bengals, they'll be more of a pass threat more than a running threat because Joe Mixon has a tough time getting started. Cardinals, who are, I think they're good on both ends of the field, running and passing. And then you have the Panthers, who they lost to. And then you finish up with the Falcons, who you almost lost to. Where is the jump start going to happen? Because it needs to happen.
This weekend.
I don't think it will.
I picked the Bucs. The jump start starts on Sunday.
I just can't.
The prime time game on 4:00 game.
4:25.
4:25. I think that they'll be up to the task this week.
What gives you the indication that the Rams are going to come out here and choke against the Bucs after Tom Brady?
Because they played lousy already, most of the season already. The games they won weren't like stellar games, and they played a lot of ugly games, man. I watched some of their games. They just can't get out of their own way. It's really pretty pitiful. Yeah. And I think it's mostly their offensive line.
Their offensive line has problems. That defense is nowhere. Oh, yeah, and another thing, the defense. I'm going to get this when I talk about my Harvey Hot Hand because this is a part of my Harvey Hot Hand. The Bucs offensive line isn't great. They have one of the lowest percentages in pass block win rates and run block win rates in the league. Then you have Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd lining up with Bobby Wagner as your middle linebacker going up against Jalen Ramsey at the corner. You're going to be screwed. You're absolutely screwed. So I think this will be low scoring. Of course, I think it'll be low scoring. I just don't think the Bucs can pull it out. I'm going to take the Bucs to win a game. I'm going to go Rams 24, Bucs 20. What's your score for the game?
Flip. 24-20 Bucs.
Interesting. All right. I think it's that time. We're going to jump into our predictions. These are Week 9 predictions. Me and my dad will pick all the games coming up this weekend on Sunday and on Monday. So let's jump right into it. I believe we're going to start off with my picks, and we will start off with my picks. Start off pretty well. I got the full. I'm sort of fully 1-0 this week, and of course, as the as the what am I trying to say here? As the pattern goes, when I start off 1-0, usually ends up pretty well. Last week I won 12 games, 11 games. So let's jump right into the pick'em. Let's do it right now. So last night, like I said, I took a beautiful 1-0 start to the week, picking the Texans to cover the 13.5 spread because I generally say, unless it's sort of a feeling thing, if I'm like, can it happen? If I second guess myself, I'm going to say, you know what? Just pick the underdog here to cover, but still pick the team that's favored to win the game. So that's what happened. Chargers, Falcons. This one is a big question mark for me because the Falcons can run the ball really well, and the Chargers have a difficult time stopping the run. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are both out, which makes me a little bit worried to say the Chargers will win this game and to also cover the -3 spread. But I'm gonna say, you know what? Justin Herbert gets it done. People are calling Justin Herbert overrated because of this year not being able to perform. Actually, the past 2 years not being able to perform up to the standards that I think people are overestimating him a little bit, saying, "Oh, he's so good." I think he's a really good quarterback. I mean, he has the most 300-yard passing game since entering the league. That has to mean something here.
Does he have the most yards for his most passing yards too?
Yeah, because I think Joe Burrow got hurt that year. So yeah I think so. But
no, I mean since he came into the league,
right.
His total passing yards the most.
I'm not too sure about that. Right. I will get back to you on that. But let's move on to the next pick. The Packers. This is a must-win for the Packers. If the Packers can't beat the Lions, the Packers are going to have a tough time winning any other game moving down the road. This
They probably
season.
won't make the playoffs, right?
I'm already saying they won't. I've been saying they don't.
Because the Vikings have got a very good record.
Yeah, they're 6-1. So
I doubt the Packers are going to catch them. They got to hope for a wild card.
I just don't think they can get it. The Packers, I don't think are a very good team.
They won't if they don't start winning some games. This is a winnable game.
This is a must-win against a bottom
very
3
winnable
defense
too.
in the league. Bottom 3 defense. And if you have the number 1 passing defense in the league, I believe DeAndre Swift may be out again this week. I don't know. You might need to finally step up and perform. The next game, Dolphins, Bears. Dolphins should win this. They just upgraded their defensive position with Bradley Chubb and also extending him. So I believe a 4-year, $115 million deal. I believe that's what it was. It was over $100 million. So I think the Dolphins with an upgraded defense. Tua is playing pretty much. He's playing really, really well. So I'll take Tua and the Dolphins to win and cover the -4 spread. And let's move on to one of the biggest disappointments in the NFL, the Las Vegas Raiders. They will lose. I think this is one of actually the easiest picks of the week for me. I'm going to pick the Jaguars to upset and cover, obviously, the +1.5 and take the dub over the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are they're disappointing. They got shut out by the Saints, weren't able to move the ball. It was a whole thing. So I'm picking the Jaguars to upset here. Next one, Colts at Patriots. Patriots fully cover. Jonathan Taylor will be out against the Patriots this week, which makes it difficult for Sam Ehlinger to move the ball efficiently. Even though Jonathan Taylor wasn't having the greatest year thus far, I will still take the Patriots to cover. Mac Jones, he's got to start performing well. And I think, you know what, the Colts have a pretty good defense this year. I'm not saying it's phenomenal, but they're keeping the scores relatively low. They did beat the Chiefs with Matt Ryan, but Belichick is known at stopping young quarterbacks and making them play bad. So I'll take the Patriots to win and cover, -5.5. Next one. I know, I just said before that I usually don't pick the double-digit point spread, but like I also said, if I have to second guess myself, that's when I do it. In this case, it's kind of obvious to me. Because what I saw in Zach Wilson last week against the Patriots defense that's been having a difficult time lately. Can't stop Justin Fields, can't stop the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, have a difficult time moving the football, stopping the run. They did a pretty good job against Zach Wilson and the Jets. So if the Bills have a better defense, have a better offense, why wouldn't they just absolutely destroy the Jets? Zach Wilson, 3 interceptions. All 3 were very ugly interceptions. Will he take less risks, a.k.a. throwing the ball out of bounds when the play is dead instead of, throwing it to Devin McCourty, I believe, twice. Throwing another interception also. I'll take the Bills here to cover and win -11. Big win for the Bills. Next one, Panthers, Bengals. Let's not get it twisted here. PJ Walker, he's not great, but he's not bad either because he beat Tom Brady, 73.5% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Comes in this game against the Falcons, puts up, I think, 35 points. Pretty good. I'm impressed with it. But the Bengals, I don't know if I think maybe Jamar Chase might be out again this week, but I don't think it matters this time. I don't think it matters. The Panthers don't have a great defense. I think the Bengals have a better offense. And then the Bengals are coming off a very, very ugly loss against the Browns on Monday Night Football. I'll take the Bengals to cover and win the -7 spread. Bengals do take the win. Next one. Taylor Heineke. Does he have more black magic in him to win out another game? No. Vikings are 6-1. If they're going to make it anywhere near the playoffs or anywhere near Super Bowl contention, they have to beat up on teams like the Washington Commanders. So I will take Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, Zadarius Smith, Patrick Peterson, the entire defense, the entire offense of the Vikings to beat up on the Washington Commanders. Chase Young is starting to get back as well, slowly coming back from that ACL injury, but it doesn't matter to me. Vikings take the win, cover the 3-point spread. I think the shocker of the week is that the Seahawks are underdogs this week. They're plus 2-point underdogs against the Cardinals. What I'm seeing from the Seahawks is very talented team. Do they have another step to go? I think they might. Geno Smith looks reinvented as a quarterback. He looks very dedicated. Kenneth Walker making a case for Rookie of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'll take the Seahawks to upset. To upset the Cardinals, take the win. I'm surprised that the Seahawks are not favored in this game. Next one, Rams are going to beat the Bucs. The Tom Brady plays bad against the Bucs. He's had trouble beating them.
Against the Bucs, he plays for the Bucs.
Against the Rams, sorry. He's had a difficulty time beating the Rams. He's put up big numbers, but you know what? A couple years ago, last year and the year before, Tom Brady could throw for 385 yards and a touchdown or two and win the game. It's not the case anymore. For some reason, he's putting up big numbers, and they're not really accumulating anything.
Well, the defense isn't very good, right?
I just think
they should have brought back JPP and Ndamukong Suh. Those guys that gave them the swagger.
Right.
They miss that.
Yeah. Another game. Let's move on to the next one. Titans, Chiefs. Chiefs -12 take the win. I know, but this one was another no-brainer for me. The Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes have the most explosive offense in the NFL right now. I'll take them to beat the Titans here. Derrick Henry went off this past week. Brian Tannehill is still questionable to play in this game. If Malik Willis plays, just attempting 10 passes last week, having to go up against Chris Jones, it's going to be a difficult time winning that game. I'll take the Chiefs to blow them out, win and cover the -12. And finally, Monday Night Football, Ravens, Saints. Ravens, I think this is another must-win for them in order to stay, high hopes. I think they're still going to make the playoffs, but high hopes of winning the AFC North. Because I think the Bengals are right on their tail. I have them actually winning the NFC North, the Bengals, at the end of the year. But I will take the Ravens to win and cover the -2.5 spread. Lamar Jackson, he did just lose, I believe it was Rashad Bateman to, I believe it was a Linz Frank injury. He'll be out the entire year, but they did just sign Deshaun Jackson. One of, if not, I would definitely say he's one of the best deep threats in NFL history. I believe he has the most 60-yard touchdowns ever in NFL history. So he might play this week. I think he will play. So Lamar has that deep speed threat. So I'll take the Ravens to cover and win the -2.5 spread. It is time now for your picks, Dad. Let's get it started.
Okay, well, I won the first one. That's a good start, right? And they got the point spread right, too. So that was good. I'm off to a great start. And I like the Eagles look really good. We talked about them and their remaining schedule. They could win them all in the regular season. I think the playoffs a different story, but then it's to be perfect to win 20 games. I don't think it's possible, but they're playing well, and I think they will continue to play well. I do think that the Chargers will beat the Falcons, but I think this one's really a toss-up. I think the Falcons are a pretty good team. They're in first place in their division now. Marcus Mariota's playing better, and he's got. I think that team has something about their camaraderie and their culture. They seem to be really together, cohesive team. Even though they don't have a ton of talent. So that's going to be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons won that game. We'll see. Green Bay, I agree, they got to win this one, right? And they got the team that they should be able to beat. And the Lions, who have no defense, Aaron Rodgers will shred them, even though his receivers are a little spotty. I think that the Green Bay is going to win that game. I think the Miami will beat the Bears. The Bears, I was surprised they didn't play better against the Cowboys, actually. They gave up a ton of points. And they looked really tough against the Patriots. So I was surprised. I actually picked the Bears last week. So I'm not making that mistake again. I'm going with the Miami. I agree with you. The Raiders are a joke. And I think that if they don't get it turned around here and play at least a respectable game against the Jaguars, look at Josh McDaniels. He's on the clock there. Could be fired. And the Jaguars, they've been up and down a little bit. They started out a little hotter than they've been recently. But I do think they're going to beat the Raiders at home. The Patriots against the Colts. I mean, last year the Colts beat the Patriots, and I was surprised. I hope this isn't another game like Chicago where the Patriots kind of they don't take it as seriously as they should. I felt that was a factor in the Chicago game. I do think Mac Jones has got to come on. You got to play better. He hasn't played well, and I don't know if it's the change in the offensive scheme or the coaches. Maybe he liked Josh McDaniel a lot better. He played better. He played a lot better under him than he's playing under the triumphant, Belichick, Joe Judge, and Matt
three
Patricia.
Play callers.
Yeah, three play. So it's a little weird. And but out on the field, he knows what the play is. He's got to execute it. His passing game has got to improve. He's got to find the open receiver, if there is one open. He holds the ball too long. He's got to get rid of it sooner. So we'll see. This could be a close game. I pick him to win and beat the point spread there, but I don't know. I think it'll be a fun game to watch. I agree with you. And congratulations to Belichick for winning the game last week, becoming the number 2 all-time winningest coach.
Yeah.
It's pretty great accomplishment, and I'm sure he's hanging in there to try to beat out Don Shula, which I hope he does.
There'll have to be a couple seasons before that. Though,
I know, but I think he's going to hang in there for that. Good. Okay. I do believe the Jets will, at the end of the day on Sunday, if the Patriots win, they will be in last place, right? And I do think it was a wake-up call for them last week. They couldn't beat the Patriots. Patriots have beaten them 13 times in a row now. And the Bills, we know what they are. They're a juggernaut, right? They've got a great defense and a great offense. They have one of the best quarterbacks. I believe they will beat that the point. They will cover on the -11, and it won't be a close game. The Bengals, they're kind of who knows what you're going to get with them every week, right? 2 weeks ago, they had the fantastic Joe Burrow, 400 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Last week, he couldn't do much of anything, and they lost. And, the Panthers, they look like a weak team, but this new quarterback, they got Walker from the XFL. He's looking pretty good. And the Panthers should have won against the Falcons last week. The field goal kicker missed 2 makeable field goals. So that I think that game will be close. I do, but I'm picking the Bengals. The Vikings against the Commanders, I think this will be a close game. The Vikings are playing at Commanders. Tyler Heineke's won 2 games in a row. Chase Young is coming back now. I think that team might be revitalized. They've won, 4 in a row? I think they've won 4 in a row, haven't they?
The Commanders?
Yeah.
I have it here. That seems weird to say that the Commanders won 4 in a row.
What's their record?
Oh, here we go. Yeah, wow, they're 4-4.
4-4.
They won 3 in a row.
3 in a row.
They
Okay.
won opening day against the Jaguars.
Yeah. So that they're on the upswing there. I see Daniel Snyder may sell a team. Did you see that?
Jeff Bezos and I think Jay-Z are both potential buyers.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Of the Commanders.
Wow, Jay-Z owning a football team, owning
That'd
the
be
Commanders.
cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Okay, the Seahawks against the Cardinals. I'm picking the Seahawks. I think they found something with Geno Smith as their quarterback, and I think the Cardinals, I thought they'd win last week because DeAndre Hopkins came back, and he did win. He did catch 12 passes, but not enough. And the Seahawks have a good defense, and they're in first place in the division right now. So it's an important game for both teams, but I do think the Seahawks will pull it out. I picked the Bucs. We talked about this already. I do think it will be a bounce back for the Bucs, although I do think they are not as good a team as they were last year. They miss JPP, Dominican Sue. There are injuries on the offensive line. Chris Godwin doesn't seem to have bounced back totally from his knee injury from last year. So they have new coaching staff. So I think that they're not as good a team as they were last year, but the Rams aren't very good either. So, and the Bucs are at home. So I'm looking for them to bounce back. I think they view this as kind of a must-win. Okay, the Chiefs against the Titans. I think the point spread is too high here. I think that the Titans will, even though the Chiefs have a blow-em-out offense, they're not going to be on the field as much as they could be to score all those points, because the Titans have got a great running game, and Derrick Henry is stepping up now. So I think they'll play ball control and win the time of possession. I think the game will be close, but I think the Chiefs will pull it out. And the Ravens, I like the Ravens. I like Lamar Jackson. I think they're going to be too much for the Saints on Monday night. Although the Saints have a good defense, they're weak at quarterback, and the Ravens are strong at that position. So those are my picks. I'm hoping I'll get my one-loss record above 500 this week, and as an entree to a much better second half for me.
Yeah, you got to have a second half comeback too. Not only do the Commanders need one, and definitely the Bucs.
They
need
got one. They've won 3 in a row.
Well, we'll see. They have a difficult schedule
the
going
Bucs
forward.
need to bounce back.
The Bucs need to bounce back as well. But I think it's time for another rendition of the Harvey Hot Hand. For those who don't know, the Harvey Hot Hand is where I choose my 5 teams to bet on for the spread. I'm doing okay. I don't have the official record right now because it is going into the halfway point of the NFL season. Talking about week 10, I will officially have that middle point record for you that you said you wanted before. But let's begin right now. That's my bad. Let's begin right now with my Harvey Hot Hand. The first one, which you saw originally, was the Ravens minus 2.5 against the Saints. The Ravens are a really good team. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, I would say both of them, have difficulties in the fourth quarter, blowing double-digit leads. The Saints defense is really good, like I've been saying. So this one, I said this last week about the Saints. They have a really good defense, but I still pick the other team over them. And what they do, they shut out the Raiders. I don't think the Ravens will get shut out here, but I do think they'll cause some trouble. They'll make this sort of a low-scoring game. And Lamar doesn't particularly throw the ball very well, or very consistently, I should say, more specifically. This is going to be a very run-based game, I think. Alvin Kamara, Taysom Hill, Lamar Jackson, Kenyon Drake, Gus Edwards. And maybe occasionally, maybe throwing in there to Demarcus Robinson, or Michael Thomas is still out. He'll be out for the rest of the year. I think Jarvis Landry is still hurt. So I'll probably be down to Chris Olave. So we'll see about that. But the next one, Seahawks +2. Oh, I should have said Ravens 24-21, cover the spread. Seahawks +2 over the Cardinals. This is still a shocker to me how the Seahawks, after playing as well as they are, leading the NFC West, are underdogs. Call of Duty Kyler, hello, Modern Warfare 2 just came out like a week ago, a couple days ago. Are we going to see Call of Duty Kyler? I think we're going to start to see Call of Duty Kyler. And plus, the Seahawks, I think, are just a better team. I'm not saying they're more talented. I just think they're better. The offensive line, their draft picks, the Seahawks, have been really, really good this year. The Cardinals' defense has a little bit of issue to it, I think. The Kyler Murray, I think, is a huge question mark for me. Cliff Kingsbury is a huge question mark for me. But I think the way Geno Smith is playing, the way Kenneth Walker's running the football, just the way the Seahawks are, I think they'll get the win here. And cover. I'd say Seahawks win and cover. Upset victory, 27-24. Seahawks get the win. Next one, Rams in a blowout against Tampa Bay. Now, I said it was 24-20 beforehand, but
Not a blowout.
11 points? 11 points. I would say 11 points is a blowout here. I'm switching it up. I said 24-20. I thought about it, and I'm saying blowout. Because now that I'm thinking about it, Tom Brady's going to have a very, very difficult time stopping Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd. He's going to have a very difficult time getting the ball to his receivers with Jalen Ramsey and Bobby Wagner both in pass coverage. I think he'll have a very difficult time running the football. Well, first of all, the Bucs don't run the football very well. They're 32nd in yards per attempt, 32nd in yards. They're a bad team. The Bucs, on the other hand, or the Rams, also are bad at running the football. They're 31st in the league. The Bucs don't stop the run very well. I think the Rams will be able to run the ball pretty well against them. At least, they'll run the ball well enough to maybe open up a play action. Cooper Kupp, my guess is he's probably going to go for, 8-9 catches, 160 yards. Chris Godwin might have a 100-yard game. He averages 99.7 yards per game against these Rams. But, you know what I see? Tom Brady throws a couple touchdowns. Maybe an interception or two.
Is Cam Akers the running back now for the Rams?
He's one of, but he's not the main one. They tried to trade him but couldn't get a trade offer. So Darrell Henderson's the running back.
Yeah, well, Cam Akers, I remember last time he played the Bucs in the playoffs, he fumbled it 3 times, right?
Right.
Yeah, so maybe they'll put him in there.
I don't think so. But Rams do get the, first of all, they're 3-point underdogs, which blows my mind. I don't know what that's about. Same thing with the Ravens game. The Bucs were favored against the Ravens. What? I'll take the Rams to blow out the Bucs. 31-20, cover the +3 spread. Next one, Patriots.
Yes.
-5.5 against the Colts. Belichick's defense knows what's up. He generally stops. I would say 9 times out of 10 stops your number one threat.
You think they'll give up 21 points, huh?
Yeah. I think they will. I think it might be a pick 6.
They've been quite a while since they gave up 21, right? Against the Chicago. The Bears, they gave up 30.
Which was what, 2 games ago?
2 games, yeah.
So it isn't that far away.
But even the games before that, they weren't giving up many points. 21 would be quite a bit. Whether they can score 30 or not, we'll see. With Mac Jones back there, I don't know.
Well, they started off not too hot because they gave up 20 points to the Dolphins, then 37 to the Ravens, 27 to Green Bay. So,
how about after that?
They shut out the Lions.
Yeah.
And 15 against Cleveland.
Yeah. Those teams aren't very good. So.
Cleveland can run the ball, and then, 33 to the Chicago Bears. That's something. But Belichick stops your number one threat. Belichick does really well against rookie and very young quarterbacks. Patriots cover and get the win. 30-21, cover the -5.5 spread. And I believe this is the last one. The Chargers, I have faith in them. They're barely going to cover, but they will cover the 3-point spread.
One thing I didn't know that you said earlier was that Keenan Allen isn't going to play.
And Mike Williams.
Yeah, well, that's hard on the Chargers.
It is. It is. I do agree with you, but I think this will be an Austin Eckler show, and I think finally, you have a Khalil Mack, Bosa. Actually, is Bosa still hurt? I should look that up because if he's still hurt, then you might have some problems. Austin Eckler was limited. Oh, great. Oh, great. All Eckler's limited.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I know, it's great. No,
And
Bosa's still hurt.
and Justin Herbert doesn't have anyone to throw it to, and the running back is hurt.
I'm not saying he's out.
Bosa is still hurt.
Yeah,
It's going to be a close game. That one's going to be a close one.
It is, and I think it's going to be high scoring. But I did take, well, I got to go back now, but I did take the Chargers to win and cover. I believe the score was, there you go, 28-24. Chargers covered the -3 spread and beat the Falcons. But that wraps it up for my Harvey Hot Hand. I will get you that record for my Harvey Hot Hand to see how well I'm actually doing.
Good.
I think I'm if I'm near 500, I'm barely above it.
Oh, you're doing pretty well on your picks.
My win-loss is pretty good. It's just that the Harvey Hot Hand isn't always, my best win-loss.
Well, that's tough to
It's
pick.
the exciting picks.
That's hard to pick.
It is. But that does wrap up another episode of the Harvey Hour. It's going to be an interesting weekend because we'll see Tom Brady, see if he comes back from whatever inner demons he's dealing with right now. Patriots against the Colts, Jets against the Bills. It's a lot of games. Monday Night Football should be pretty good, I think. Ravens Saints. I don't know. I think that could be an interesting game.
Yeah.
Very interesting game. But that does wrap it up for us here.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be a lot of fun. My name is Nathan Harvey. That's my dad, Stephen Harvey. We are the Harvey Hour. We will catch you guys Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube.
Bye-bye. Another